Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast. Harvey Levin here.
Jaime here.
And Jason.
Well, I think this weekend there is a big signal on what Elon Musk is going to do with Twitter based on what he did with Paul Pelosi. I was shocked.
Yeah, it's stunning. Paul Pelosi, obviously the victim of a horrible attack in his home. The intruder apparently came after Nancy Pelosi, found that she wasn't there, got into some sort of... Paul Pelosi, I guess, secretly called 911, but in the meantime, both he and the assailant armed themselves with a hammer. The assailant disarmed Paul Pelosi and then hit him with the hammer.
And apparently did this while the police were there. They got there very quickly.
Yeah.
So there was a story in a Southern California newspaper / website over the weekend with a conspiracy theory about that. And we're not going to get into the specifics, but they're saying that these two knew each other, and then they get very specific, and it's very lurid.
When you say specific, it's about the details of the alleged thing, not that there's any evidence. There was no evidence.
Well, that's what I'm about to say.
Okay,
there is zero evidence. And this newspaper / website also posted or published a story in 2016 that Hillary Clinton was dead and that it was a lookalike who debated Donald Trump. So they put this out, and it started making the rounds. Elon then put the link of this story on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Elon said, I believe it was Friday, that he was going to get a moderation council together to talk about what would appropriately be posted on Twitter, as if there are going to be some guardrails and limits. But he posts this thing, and there is no evidence that any of this is true. And, you know, it caught on like wildfire. And, it's not even so much about what was said in this article. It's what is Twitter going to be now?
Are we going to talk about the details of what this theory is, or are we trying to not breathe any life into it?
The reason I don't want to talk about it is because there's no evidence of it. And when you look at the article where it all emanated from, this was their theory.
It's just such an icky, childish, weird theory that. So yeah, we won't get into details. Yes,
stuff,
yes,
though, right?
And this is the stuff that people like to hide behind as free speech. Well, reposting that is not free speech. That's irresponsible and it's wrong and it shouldn't be allowed.
It's also potentially defamatory. I mean, Elon Musk, didn't he when he sent this out? Didn't he also include the caption? There's maybe more to this Paul Pelosi story than meets the eye.
Yes.
So Elon Musk, in a very cowardly way, is saying, well, I'm not saying it's true or false, but here's something you might want to think about.
Let me light a match and walk away.
Exactly. When it's so irresponsible, it's like saying, person X, there's people out there that say person X may beat their wife. I don't know if it's true or not.
Well, it's very Donald Trump of Obama's not from America. Right. I heard that. I mean, I didn't start that. I heard that.
It is very Donald Trump.
Yes.
Yeah. And boy, I'll tell you, that's why I find this interesting. He took it down. He deleted it, but, the damage was done. And, what is he going to do? What is this moderation council going to be if things like this can go up? And again, I think the key to this is just it is really lurid and damaging, and there's no evidence. If there were evidence, it would be another issue.
Right.
But there was no evidence. It was an opinion by this.
It was a false claim by some organization.
Right.
With no backing to it. They just wanted to harm the Pelosi's.
So, is Donald Trump coming back on Twitter?
He says so.
If this kind of thing's allowed, this is Donald Trump fodder, right?
He's saying two things. On the one hand, he's saying I want a moderation council. On the other hand, he's saying I want utter free speech.
Right.
But he's blocking people left and right that are saying nasty things to him. So he can't take it, clearly.
Well, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And you saw Donald Trump Jr., I believe on Twitter, posted his Halloween costume. He's going to go as Paul Pelosi. It's a pair of men's underwear and a hammer. That's what Donald Trump Jr. posted today.
What if it was just a coincidence? He just had it lying around.
One of the more unsurprising things of the month so far, if Donald Trump Jr. is doing that.
But it's also just it's insanely dangerous, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene said a few years ago, the posts are coming back, that Nancy Pelosi is guilty of treason and we should use capital punishment on Nancy Pelosi to pay her back for her treason. This is, there's direct, and by the way,
well, look, I'm sorry. She's I don't want to say insane because I think she's so calculating in what she's doing. This country is in such trouble.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was talking to some people over the weekend, and this conversation is going on in a lot of households in America. These people were saying, God, I hear Vancouver is such a great place to live.
Yeah.
People are thinking about this now.
Yeah.
They're really thinking about this. When I was very young, during the Vietnam War, there were a lot of people talking about moving. And some did, actually. Yeah. But I've never really heard that before. And it, in many ways, pales by comparison to what's going on now. People are really talking about this because in 2024, I mean...
It's what happened. Honestly, it's what happens in 2 weeks here. It's what happened. 2 weeks from now is the most consequential. We keep saying this.
The only difference, Jason, is the Republicans are surging now. And if they win, you're not going to feel what you would feel when they lose.
Well, right, I agree with that. But if certain people are running for office in a number of states, very close swing states, who have said that if a Democrat in the future gets more votes than the Republican, I will not certify that, and I will only certify a Republican for. We are having people who are running for office specifically stating that that votes do not matter. We will put into power those people we think should be in power regardless.
That's right.
Yes.
And and I just think with 2024.
Yeah. No, it's terrifying.
I don't know that this country can survive this 2024 election.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Democracy is on the ropes. I hate to be sort of histrionic about the whole thing, but democracy is on the ropes here. Look, countries have tested democracy in the past. It's never lasted, right? There was a Greek democracy, there was a Roman democracy for a while. It has never lasted. There's no reason to think our democracy is here forever. It may have run its 240-year course.
It's really true. I mean, people need to care about democracy and understand it. Most people don't.
Yep.
Most people just don't. They are willing to, exercise freedoms as long as they're on the side that gets the freedom. But if people have to tolerate things that they don't like or hate, it's a whole other story. And that's the whole foundation of the country. And I just think we're in real trouble. Okay. That all said, Kanye West.
Even, believe it or not, happier news, Kanye West.
Yeah, no kidding. So, I mean, this is unbelievable. I do think this is unbelievable. So over the weekend, Kanye says essentially he is like a modern-day Emmett Till, that he has been the victim of a digital lynching. He is blaming people like Ari Emmanuel, the head of Endeavor, the talent agency, and he is, basically saying that what happened to Emmett Till is happening to him, and he's even posted a picture of Emmett Till with the open casket.
I don't think you can find one person who can defend this or get behind it. You do?
Yeah.
Jamie.
I
think
you can find lots of people who do.
Oh,
I think
a 14-year-old boy versus Kanye.
Kyrie Irving over the weekend tweeted that he retweeted or a recommendation for people to watch a violently anti-Semitic film.
Well, he's a bad person too. So
yeah, no.
I guess let me rephrase. I cannot find a good person who's just a Kanye fan that can get behind this.
Yes.
So fine, the haters are going to be.
But that kind of ignores the fact that anti-Semitism is really
it is real, and it's the people who already believe in that, and now they're getting behind him.
And this is not just a few people here and there.
Yeah.
This is a growing movement that keeps that has resurgence after resurgence after resurgence. And I got to tell you, I'm just going to say this. I'm not trying to do Oprah's Book of the Month Club here, but there is a documentary on PBS called the U.S. and the Holocaust, and it's amazing and eye-opening. And I studied it, but there were so many things in it. This is Ken Burns, that I never knew, and It really is shocking, and it is back, and it's back in a big way. And when you look at Kanye, that he's even, the dog whistling here where he's saying the businessmen, in quotes, are causing him to lose money and then hurting Adidas and everything. He's talking about the Jews.
Right.
He's talking about the Jews.
Right. And for him to equate himself to Emmett Till, right? Here's a billionaire who is able to speak and has preached hate and violence towards people he doesn't like. For him to compare himself to 14-year-old Emmett Till, who I believe is 14, who was wrongfully accused of raping a white woman
and beaten to death,
and was beaten to death, and it is for very good reason a symbol of racism and hate in the post-war South. For him to compare himself to Emmett Till is shameful. It's shameful.
And also, Kanye, I don't know how you guys feel about it, even though I think he's severely mentally ill.
I don't care.
Yeah, I agree. I'm but I'm tired of that leading every statement.
I hadn't finished the sentence.
Okay.
I'm not defending that.
I'm going to let you finish.
Even though he's severely mentally ill, you can be that and still be intentional. And I think not only was he intentional, I think he knew and almost enjoyed that people would ridicule him for what he was saying. And I think all of that was calculated, that he wanted an impact. And now he's gotten the impact. And now he's saying, oh, you see, now I'm a martyr. I mean, I just think this whole thing is so incredibly twisted.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about Halloween.
Ooh, I'll talk about this for hours and hours with you.
I am sorry, guys.
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher was so dead on here that, look, right today, Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox. By the way, if they marry, she'll be Megan Kelly.
Oh, lordy. Two on this planet. No, thank you.
I just thought of it today.
How to become less relevant. Name yourself Megan Kelly.
She's still out there.
Megan Kelly?
Yeah, she's got a podcast.
Yeah, no, she's out there. Megan Fox is more out there. I mean, less relevant. Anyway.
Okay. Look, Halloween has gotten so ridiculous that, Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly are getting dragged because he wore a priest outfit over the weekend, and she was like a
dominatrix, but he was feeding her communion. Yeah.
So, look, before we get into Bill Maher, Halloween is a sacrilegious holiday.
Yes.
That is the very point of Halloween. So this is in the sweet spot of Halloween to be sacrilegious. But they're getting dragged because they're not wearing a Mickey Mouse or, a princess,
a
whatever.
Outfit.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's what Bill Maher said. Oh, man, I agree with this.
Every year we go through this bullshit. Lists of costumes you better not wear, lest a night of irreverent dress-up spiral into something that resembles fun. Halloween is supposed to be outrageous. It's a festival of the sacrilegious and a celebration of the grotesque. From zombies to ghouls to bobbing for apples and other people's saliva. Yet, every year there's a new list of offensive things we shouldn't do on the day that's all about being offensive.
He went into Jeffrey Dahmer. He had
his comment on Simone Biles was great.
Oh, my God.
Simone Biles said, leave the Jeffrey Dahmer outfits at home, people. And he
said... No, he said, but she went on. She said, leave them at home, y'all with me, or something like that. It's like, we're all together in this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He said, who died made you the great pumpkin?
Yeah. But I mean, he's right.
Yes, of course.
He is right. I mean, this is such a ridiculous holiday. People are scared to put costumes on now.
Yeah.
They're scared.
Okay.
They're calculating what they can wear. That's the point of Halloween.
It is. But there are certain things you have to be careful about. You can't do anything racist. You can't. But here's my question to go back. How do we feel about, was it Trump Jr. going as Paul Pelosi? We were just talking about. How do we feel about that?
No, I mean, I get it.
He can go as whatever he wants. There are things that, look, even the priest and the dominatrix, like, it's offensive to some people. That's, by the way, that's okay. You can be offended, and some people will be offended, and that's okay too.
And there are lines, but I mean, Jaime, one of the things he mentioned was, you can't go as Queen Elizabeth now because it's too soon, as if this 96-year-old, as he said, was an ingenue still.
We have a Queen Elizabeth dressed up in the next room.
Okay,
so
well,
I love offensive things. I don't think Jeffrey Dahmer, I am definitely in the minority of that, especially in this office. I think Jeffrey Dahmer is fair game. I like to clutch my pearls at first, and I like to be a little bit offended.
Did you hear what Bill Maher said about that?
About clutching pearls?
No, about Jeffrey Dahmer.
I think, let's hear it.
That it was to the effect of that you can wear it because he killed somebody. He what did he say? He killed them. He had sex with them, and he cut them up, not necessarily in that order.
God.
And I mean, Bill was really out there on this thing.
Well, he's being absurd.
And it's true. There are victims out there, and I get it. But when I understand that. Jeffrey Dahmer is in the zeitgeist of pop culture because there's a popular Netflix show on Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, it's not that people are doing this out of the blue. It's that Netflix does this movie, and it's a huge hit, and people are talking about Jeffrey Dahmer. It is in the zeitgeist, and I get that, and I get that there are people who are going to be offended and everything else. But still, it's like, where is the outrage with Netflix if you're talking about you can't wear a Jeffrey Dahmer
Then
outfit?
I don't want them to make a single penny off of it.
But we do have to try to reconcile, and maybe it's unreconcilable. There are things that are off limits, right? You can't dress in blackface.
Right.
You can't dress as a Holocaust victim,
right.
I would think.
Although I think that's going to happen.
Right. There are certain things you can't do, and I don't know exactly where that line is. We know it when we see it, where that line is, right? Jeffrey Dahmer is really okay. It's really okay. It was 20-something years ago. It's really okay.
And especially with Netflix. Come on,
well,
people.
It's so zeitgeist.
Come on, people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, last thing I want to talk about. God. Democrats are in trouble. The Republicans are surging now. And so they need to bring out the big guns to get the vote out. And the biggest gun, by far, no doubt. And when you hear him again, you just think, God, this guy is Barack Obama. Yeah. He is on the campaign trail. I got to tell you, I mean, somebody asked me over the weekend, can Obama run again? And I mean, I think people are kind of looking at this and just saying that he would win in a landslide at this point.
I think that's why people always get behind the thought of Michelle running because, they'd be in the same bed. Yes. They could at least,
Well, Michelle's got that same charisma and everything else.
I just want to say something about Michelle Obama. I have a friend who went to Harvard Law School with them. And everybody knew how smart he was. He was incredible, but they thought she was even smarter.
Oh, for sure. She was like his boss or something when they first started.
Right, but that was at Sidley, and that's when
she was older.
But when they were in law school, they were both impressive. She was the most impressive.
She wasn't older. She went to school.
She went to school first. Yeah, I meant to correct myself.
My point being that it's not that they sleep in the same bed.
No,
it's that
I understand that, but she has shown zero interest in politics.
She's not going to do it.
She's not going to run.
But man, he was inspiring. And again, I don't care whether you support him, you don't support him, whatever. But as an orator, and it's something he learned when he ran for president, because he wasn't this kind of an orator when that happened.
He can jazz you up.
I mean, just this is a little bit of him.
Some of you may not remember, but Herschel Walker was a heck of a football player. I mean, some of you are too young to remember, but in college he was amazing. One of the best running backs of all time. But here's the question. Does that make him the best person to represent you in the U.S. Senate? Does that make him equipped to weigh in on the critical decisions? Let's do a thought experiment. Let's say you're at the airport and you see Mr. Walker and you say, hey, there's Herschel Walker, Heisman winner. Let's have him fly the plane.
How sad would you be if Barack Obama just made fun of you for 5 minutes?
Well, he made fun of us at TMZ last week.
That's true. He said we're not at his remote.
Right.
I think he was lying, but that's okay.
Oh, you do think he was. I don't know how.
I don't necessarily agree with him on this because on his theory, John Glenn shouldn't have been a senator.
Well, not only that, but Raphael Warnock, the person he's campaigning on behalf,
was a minister.
I wouldn't want him flying my plane either. So I don't know how far that gets you. His point was that Herschel Walker is clearly unqualified for this job,
and that's
where he was going.
And that's
right.
fertile ground.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, you can't discount somebody because they're a football player.
Correct.
I mean, Fred Thompson was an actor, became a senator. There are a million examples.
Jack Kemp was a football player, became a very successful senator. Bill Bradley was a basketball player, became a very successful senator.
And we could go on and on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Herschel Walker did fire back and said that he is a warrior for God, and he's been on the front line of the fight for God while Barack Obama's been absent. That's what Herschel Walker said in response.
Do you think Biden is a little bent out of shape because he is now going out and campaigning this week, but he doesn't have the popularity of Barack Obama?
I think he's very bent out of shape.
I think he is too. I mean, it's got to hurt that.
See, I don't. I think that you know your place. He knows that Barack Obama's better, and that it is what it is.
When you're president,
I think both things are true. He knows his place,
Yeah.
and he knows what it is, but he's also bent out of shape because he wishes. This was the thing about Richard Nixon. He never understood why the people never loved him the way that they loved John Kennedy. And I think Joe Biden cannot understand why they don't love him the way they loved Barack Obama or Bill Clinton, and he just can't understand.
I think that's right. And, and it's just, I don't know. We are in for a really interesting time.
God, it's Monday.
Okay. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Woohoo.
Watch your costumes.
Yeah.
Watch your... What are you...
What? I'm not going... I've been a Zika mosquito before, and I got enough backlash on that, so I'm playing it cool. I'm just going to chill.
I just shudder to think what you're doing.
Oh, it's going to be... don't. Okay.
We'll
watch
find
the
out
show.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous myself.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.